Subject: the bus ride that defies all logic, decency, and humanity. Dear parents, I have seen the darkest depths of human nature, and they were unleashed on a school bus. This is Principal Davis, and I am writing to you today because I have no other choice. What I witnessed on that so-called field trip is beyond the scope of anything I could have ever imagined, and I'm genuinely questioning whether any of your children should be allowed in society, let alone a classroom. I hope you're sitting down because what I'm about to describe will sound like a mix between a Michael Bay movie, a psychological horror, and an anarchist's wet dream. Every single detail, every moment of chaos and depravity is going to be laid out in this letter. You need to understand just how far this situation escalated, and I am not going to sugarcoat a single thing. The disaster began the moment we told the students to board the bus. Instead of calmly walking in, they sprinted toward it like rabid animals. They ripped the doors clean off the bus, literally tearing them off the hinges, and started crawling in through every opening. Windows, emergency exits, even the roof hatch. Some kids climbed under the bus to test the suspension by kicking it repeatedly, which made the bus driver scream, "Get off my bus!" This, of course, only encouraged them to climb faster. Once they were inside, you'd think the madness would subside. Wrong. The instant the engine started, every single student began screaming at the top of their lungs. Not normal screams, blood-curdling, soul-piercing screams that could have raised the dead. This went on for 3 full minutes. The bus driver's face turned red as he yelled, "Shut up!" But his voice was drowned out by the roar of chaos. Then, one particularly creative child at the front of the bus decided to make things worse by yelling, "Smash the bus into that family minivan!" This set off a chorus of increasingly deranged chants. "Hit that guy on the bike! Ram the bus into a tree! Run that baby over! Take out that old lady!" One kid climbed onto the dashboard and started slapping the horn in rhythm with the chants. Another leaned out the window and started pointing at random cars, yelling like, "That one! Hit that one!" The driver, to his credit, did his best to ignore them, but you could see the fear in his eyes. Things escalated even further when one student decided it'd be funny to start a fire. They pulled out a lighter, set a seat cushion on fire, and threw it out the window. It landed in the middle of a preschool field trip, scattering a group of toddlers like bowling pins. Meanwhile, another student pulled out a bowling ball, where they got it, I have no idea, and smashed it through one of the bus windows before hurling it at a passing car. The car swerved off the road and into a ditch, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get sued for that. At this point, one of the quieter students, a shy, introverted girl who was already on edge, was quietly trying to read a book in the corner of her seat. Naturally, this made her a target. One boy leaned over and asked, "Hey, want to go out with me?" She looked mortified and didn't respond, which only made him laugh and say, "Come on, don't be shy." Then another student started recording her with their phone, shouting, "Everyone, look, she's blushing!" The poor girl started crying, and instead of leaving her alone, a third kid began making loud, repetitive noises, barking like a dog, mooing like a cow, all while splashing water on her face. She had a full-blown panic attack, hyperventilating while another student screamed, "Someone film this!" Upstairs, on the double-decker bus, the chaos somehow managed to be even worse. A group of students had ripped off one of the seats and were using it as a makeshift sled, sliding down the stairs at high speed and crashing into anyone in their way. Another group had found a bucket of white paint, where did it even come from, which they dumped all over the floor, the walls, and each other. By the time they were done, it looked like a scene from a lunatic asylum. One kid decided to hold a general election to determine who would be the president of the bus. In theory, this sounds harmless. In practice, it devolved into a fistfight between the candidates, complete with campaign slogans like, "Vote for me or I'll throw you out the window." Speaking of which, at least 2 students did throw themselves out of the windows while the bus was going 85 miles per hour. We never saw them again. Back downstairs, things were no better. The small TV screens attached to each seat, completely destroyed. It started with one kid punching their screen, but soon every single student joined in, ripping the screens off their mounts and throwing them at each other like frisbees. One student who was actually trying to watch a movie in peace had their screen smashed by another kid wielding a hammer. One particularly athletic student started playing soccer in the aisle. The ball, of course, was on fire, and it smashed through the front windshield, narrowly missing the driver. Upstairs, another flaming soccer ball took out the rear windshield. When we made an emergency stop at a service station, I foolishly thought it would give everyone a chance to calm down. Instead, they jumped through the windows, again smashing them, stormed the service station like a mob, and immediately began causing destruction. One student smashed a claw machine with a crowbar and took all the prizes. Another clogged every toilet by shoving raw chicken into them. Someone else blew up one of the toilets with a grenade. Don't ask me how. One kid set the sinks on fire by dousing them with gasoline. Another started biting random people, biting them. Yet another took a bite out of a wooden door, chewed it, and swallowed. When they returned to the bus, after smashing the station's windows on their way out, someone thought it'd be funny to put a brick on the gas pedal and let the bus drive itself into the service station's entrance. It took out 3 vending machines, 2 display racks, and a Slurpee machine before the driver managed to stop it. At this point, we had to switch to a new bus. I prayed, that this would be the end of the madness. But no. The moment they boarded the new bus, someone threw a steel ball at one of the windows, shattering it instantly. Another student managed to hotwire the emergency button, setting off an explosion at the service station behind us. The new bus has had TV screens too, and within minutes, they were all ripped out and turned into projectiles. One student used their screen to hit another kid over the head, while another threw theirs out the window at a passing police car. Someone sprayed 8 cans of Raid insecticide directly into the gas tank. This, unsurprisingly, caused the bus to catch fire. The students, instead of panicking, cheered. By the time we arrived back at the school, the bus was a smoldering wreck. Half the windows were gone, the seats were in pieces, and the driver looked like he'd aged 20 years. When we confronted the students about their behavior, they looked genuinely confused and said, "What? We behaved." Field trips are permanently canceled. If you want to complain, don't bother. I am too tired to care.